So, hey guys, today we have David Beckley here. David's a pro member, kind of part of our deal maker program. And let's see here. So, we have known each other now. It's getting on several months now. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
6 months or not. It's been
it's
a few
7 months.
months.
7 months.
So, David, right now, like I consider like one of our potential big, massive up and comers. Like he is poised for a breakout, and he's not quite there yet. And the reason why I really um, uh, like having people on that are kind of like all different levels is because if we only interview people that are like the top 1% performers and already have it all figured out, I think it's like really hard to connect and for people that aren't quite there yet. I mean, I tell this a lot, but yes, our team, and we've done over 2,000 deals in our careers, and we've done over 500 deals in a single year. Um, but when I first started out, I only did one deal in my first 18 months. So, so just, so like there's different, everybody starts out at different levels. And David, like you, like literally, I'm really pumped about this because we're going to dive into some of your challenges and some of your obstacles and things like that. Um, um, but like, I'd like to kind of like share with you guys kind of like some of this process and this journey that with somebody that's like right in the middle of it, in the thick of things.
I did my first deal in 2015. It's kind of funny. I went on Craigslist and I had a template email that I sent. Man, I must have sent in 1 week. I must have sent. I will buy your house cash and close in 30 days to like 150 sellers. Had no money. Had no. It was just something I learned. Said, hey, get it under contract and then figure it out. Find a buyer. So I met a guy in St. Louis, Travis, who I don't know if you remember Raineth Property. Raineth was like one of the biggest hedge fund investors in St. Louis back then. I mean, they owned several hundred properties, and they were buying like crazy in North County. And so I got the criteria from him. He said, "Hey, here's what they're looking for. You go out and find it. I'll help you walk the property. I'll tell you if it's a good deal, and then we'll flip it to Raineth, and you just give me a couple $1,000s for helping you do this deal." He told me and my wife that we ate dinner with him. I'm like, okay. So I went out and I'm just telling every home seller out there, I'll buy your house, close in 30 days. Had no freaking idea what I was doing. So this guy emails me back and he says, and I didn't know how to really evaluate properties like I do now. But this guy emails me and he says, call me. I got 2 houses in Jennings that I want to sell. And I called him and he says, hey, I want to sell these houses for 25,000. And I said, 25,000 each? He goes, no, 25,000 for both. Jim, I didn't have a clue about real estate deals, but I knew 2 houses for 25 grand was a freaking good deal. So I immediately sent him a contract. I was like 20. He's like, yeah, man, I'm leaving town. They're rented out. They're getting 650. I got brand new systems in them. I'll let you have them both for $25,000. I go, send in a contract right now. I didn't even evaluate it. I'm like, there's no way 2 houses is going for 25,000. That's not a good deal. So I sent him a contract. He signed it. I called my buddy Travis, said, hey, we went and looked at the houses and they were pristine, man. The tenants were paying on time. HVACs were new. The roofs were new. Everything was new. And we flipped it to the hedge fund for 42 grand. All right. So I made $17,000 on my very first deal in 2015. Me and my wife and the guy that we were working with, we went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse to celebrate because we were so excited, man. And that after that deal, I was hooked. I said, okay, even though I didn't have a lot of knowledge then, I probably jumped the gun a little bit too soon because that $17,000 deal, I literally left Home Depot like the very next week. Probably prematurely. I should have slowed down because I did more deals after that, and they definitely weren't $17,000, and I made some mistakes, but I was hooked, man. I saw that deal come to fruition, and I was like, okay, real estate's the way to go.
So what's amazing, and this is a very normal path that I see that people start out as wholesaling, You really can just with, as long as you know the right contingencies to write, you really can hit on a deal and make 17 grand like you did without really knowing hardly anything about real estate. Like, let's think about this. So you had a contact, you had someone that had knowledge that you were able to kind of partner with and do the deal with. You had the ability to write a contract. You knew the right contingency.
Yep.
And then you did some lead generation. You just reached out to a bunch of homeowners looking to sell a house. Then you made 17 grand.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times we get like caught up in like, all this has to be this big complicated thing. And, sometimes the most simple way to do things works out for sure.
It's funny you say that, Jim, because sometimes now that I'm more knowledgeable, I do overcomplicate things sometimes. And sometimes I say to myself, I wish I was as ignorant as I was then to just get it done, man. I mean, just go out there and make offers and it'll work, So I think sometimes I overcomplicate things. I dig too deep into deals. But that guy that got that $17,000 deal in 2015, I was ignorant, man. I didn't know much, but I contacted every seller and said, hey, I'll close in 30 days because that's what the book told me to do, So you're right. We just got to keep it simple, man.
Yeah. And Ryan and I have talked about this in the past where like we almost see people in two buckets. So David's bucket is I'm just going to go out and do a bunch of stuff. And then we see another bucket where it's like, then this was me, where it's like, I'm going to analyze and I'm going to try and learn and I'm going to try and learn. I'm going to try and learn before I actually do anything. The best path that we believe is to kind of be really more in the middle where you're defining what it is you're trying to accomplish, what the purposes of your business, and then you're learning and you're doing to get to that goal. And you're doing both. You're not just learning for a year like I did and not actually doing anything. You're kind of doing both. And that's because like, yes, you can get in action mode, you can do deals. But you can also make some mistakes if you're not continually trying to learn and refine what you have going on too. So absolutely. So, okay. So let's go back to your story. So you left Home Depot the very next week. And what happened like as you got in full time?
Ooh, man, it was rough. It was rough. Obviously, that $17,000 didn't last forever. It's not enough to take you over the top, man. What I quickly learned, which I understand now, is you definitely have to have systems in place. So here it is. I made $17,000 on one deal, and I had no system other than emailing a bunch of people on Craigslist. And the thing about wholesaling is you can dig. And a wholesale deal can take a lot out of you. I mean, there's a lot of work. A lot of people, they try to make wholesaling seem like it's simple, but you're juggling a lot of plates. You're trying to keep the seller happy. You're trying to keep the buyer happy. You're dealing with the title company, and a wholesale deal can fall apart real quickly if you don't keep a handle on things. So if you got 2 or 3 deals going and you're handling all of that, then you stop your pipeline, stop generating leads, and next thing you know, you're broken. You're trying to figure it all out again, and that's what happened, man. I left emotionally without a plan. I didn't have any systems in place. I didn't have a podio. I didn't have a lead generation plan. I had a buyer, but the income just fluctuated, man. I do a deal here for 4,000, a deal here for 2,000, but they would be 60, 90 days between those deals. And I got a wife and 3 kids to raise. So you don't have to settle. You don't have to give up. You can do whatever it is you want to do. And I want them to see that in me. So even if the $1 million goal isn't reached before I leave this earth, if my kids can go out into the real world and say, hey, I saw my dad survive 3 freaking heart attacks and still he didn't give up. He didn't lay down. He didn't say, woe is me. He pushed. He kept fighting. He kept trying to obtain dreams and goals for us. So that has become 1A for me. Now, I still want that $1 million net worth, and I'm going to accomplish it. But 1A is how do they feel about approaching or dealing with adversity in life. So if they can see that if that dude can overcome what he's overcome over the last 5 or 6 years, I can accomplish anything. And so it starts with them, and then I'm learning as I build my network and meet people. I want people to see that in me as well. Even in this interview, I want people to understand you can't bring any adversity to me and say, this is the reason I can't be successful. I'm not hearing it because I've survived 3 heart attacks, man. You know what I mean? And lost a lot over those years. And yet I'm still getting up, smiling every day. So you talk about my routine. I'm on the lead gen call every morning with you guys, which drives me to generate leads. I work a lot with probate leads. I'm calling probate leads every day. I've got a good network of wholesalers that's sending me deals. And I'm probably evaluating and making 3 to 5 offers a week. I mean, that's my goal. I can't control, especially now, this is a seller's market. Sellers can definitely demand more money right now. It's just that way. And so I stick to my criteria. You guys have really helped me define my criteria, what I want, stay in that box, make the offers, and everything else will take care of itself. I mean, that the contract that closed yesterday, man, when I look back, I started with these people in January. You know what I mean? They were having some personal issues with getting this deal done. And I just politely, I wasn't too aggressive. I just check in with them every other week. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Part of my system and my process, along with all the other leads that I follow up on, they're in that bucket of, hey, where we're at. Hey, I'm just checking on you. And finally last week, he said, hey, we're ready to sign. We're ready to close. And I think I even sent you guys a text because he's been saying that for a few weeks now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not counting this deal until the contract is actually signed. So it was finally signed yesterday. It's going through the title company process, and hopefully we'll be closing on it in 30 days. It's a pretty good deal. I've been lucky. The first 2 flips, literally, paint job work to get done and some potential good profit. And that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen often in the rehab world. Most of the time you're going to find jobs with huge problems, but I've been lucky. My first 2 deals is really replace a roof, paint the house, and put it on the market. So kind of sweet to get my feet wet with those kind of deals.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things that for people when you're just starting out that can be tough and challenging is you don't get a house under contract that you started talking with a homeowner 6 months ago. Right. Like there's this like gap that like these follow-up leads when you have the right systems in place. Mm-hmm. And we actually do have an episode on follow-up systems, kind of developing those out on Doors to Deals. It's like in the top 10 of the episodes of one of the first 10 that we did, I believe. But like that's a big way on how you can start to really string together those consistent deals and consistent paychecks by having that systematic follow-up and making sure you're routinely talking to these people.
Yeah.
Because there's only probably 20 to 30% of the leads that you get where you're going to close in the first 30 days. And the other percentage of them just need to kind of constantly follow up and be there when they are motivated to sell at the price that you need.